Gloria Mercer, Bethany Brown, and how do I say? Is it Tandia? Tandia?
Tandia, yeah.
Tandia Mercedes is joining me to talk about A Safe Distance, and it premieres at South by Southwest, which is literally next week, literally in the coming days. It's insane how it crept up on us. I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it,
Well,
and
thank you.
Hey.
absolutely. And please, let's go ahead and whomever wants to take the reins, even me, describe what the movie is about because literally from the jump, I guess I'm taking the reins because I'm about to describe it.
Go off, Novell.
This girl is basically stranded in the woods after she decided to say no to a proposal from her boyfriend, and she gets intermixed with this couple who is on the run. I guess by in no uncertain terms, it's called the Bonnie and Clyde of our generation. And she becomes immersed in their life where she sort of now has to die between being good, being bad, and everything in between. And it seems that Bethany, your character, loves that life of being bad just a tad little bit.
Val, stop, honey. It was all survival, right? I had to be
She
bad.
survived being bad and she enjoyed it.
Hey, maybe there was a tiny tickle. Maybe it was like a little bit fun. No, it was so fun, really. And I think there is this, like, I was thinking about it and I was like, I think there's this place in me that would just love one day where I could just be like so bad. I don't think I'd do like super bad things, but like, you know, right? Like just
Just to clarify and preface this, guys, we're not going this level,
this is
but
the
also
purge, okay? Like I'm not, gonna slay people, but I'm just like, just like cute, fun, bad
A
things,
little bit.
cute
I don't
crimes.
I don't mind cute bad things when people don't get hurt. And then I'm okay with cute bad things. But this one, as you said, it is about survival and she is trying to make sure that she gets out of this unscathed because of their life and what they do. So she's just trying to make sure I'm not trying to get on their bad side. I'm not trying to do this. But somewhere along the way, she starts to enjoy it, which is why I said that, because there were some scenes in there where I went, she's fallen into that trap. And I don't like using that word, but unfortunately, it kind of fits for this story. She falls into that trap. And even as at one point in the movie, it was said that ever since Alex came in, our whole thing just went in a huge clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what was very interesting about it, is just now how to see not just her life, but now these other two people that just now came into her world, how their lives are now different because of Alex's appearance into their world. So, Tandia, what do you want to say about your character and the relationship with Alex? Because they seem to grow a lot closer, but there was at points where even I was questioning, should Alex trust you?
Mm. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think ultimately Alex being introduced into our lives is I think Kiana's excited because she's been with her boyfriend alone for so long, and I think the excitement has started to disappear. So when Alex shows up, it's like, oh my God, a new person that I can pay attention to. And there's definitely parts in the film where you can kind of see that rift happening in our relationship, but Alex and Kiana's relationship starts to blossom into this
Yeah.
really beautiful thing. And ultimately, yeah, they get to bond over the not so great stuff that Kiana is into doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it was really an accident. Um,
Mhm.
like the feelings just crept in, really accidentally, and I think that we've all probably been in that situation where like, oh, I've planned this out, and if I just go with act with my head, I can do the safe things or I can do the unsafe things, and I'm just gonna execute whatever the plan is. But then when our heart starts pulling us in a different direction, it
Yeah.
really does like kind of pour gasoline on a fire.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was very it's interesting that you said that. And I completely agree, because when you're talking about the heart part and Kiana's relationship, it's just when you're seeing Alex just basically being supportive of Kiana in this way, going, why are you staying with him? Why are you in this relationship? You need to get out. It's while we talked about the fact that it is her trying to survive, but you're now starting to see that she really cares about Kiana. She really wants to protect her. And
Mhm.
I love the fact that it shifts in the film to where you now are starting to see that there is that level of trust and there is that level of love there. So I love the fact that it went from I'm trying to survive to I actually care about you and I need you to get out. And even though I am now succumbed into doing these bad things, I still want you here. So that, to me, I thought that was a very great take to go into that direction. And Gloria, I want to ask, because we're talking about this relationship of Kiana's, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand that you went into a safe distance because you just got out of a relationship that was not so great yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I like it's, which I think is something a lot of people and a lot of women have experienced is like, just being in situations where you kind of spend a few years and you sort of build what you think is like a foundation and you think things are working and then like one day all of a sudden you're like, wait, like I'm not happy and I've like sort of made myself into something that I don't like anymore. So it was really like, I guess I don't know the with like rewarding to sort of inject a lot of that into the character of Alex, which Bethany obviously did like an amazing job portraying, is just this person who's sort of found like, 8 years into a relationship, found
Mm,
themselves all of a sudden just like being faced with a proposal in a relationship that seems by like, from the outside stable and maybe fulfilling, and then all of a sudden is faced with the question of like, will you marry me? And is like, she just can't, she real like in that moment realizes sort of how unhappy and how unfulfilling this experience has left her, and or unfulfilled, and then yeah, sort of like through that experience with Kiana, like the pull of like the freedom of the life that Kiana has, and then like also the like empathy she feels for her. But yes, it came from some experiences I had, and I really wanted to explore sort of how women can make themselves smaller in relationships sometimes when they feel like that's like the expectation to kind of change themselves to be this idea of what they think they should be, and then it really hurts you after, like, and it shouldn't be something that we have to do.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, Bethany portrayed that really beautifully.
I wanted to touch on that comment that you just said a little bit about how Alex sees how free Kiana is, and exploring that, because one of the things I also had in my back pocket was that when you see Alex break up with her boyfriend in the beginning of it, and you kind of touched on it saying that she's been in this relationship for so long and she realized how unhappy she is. Gloria, you can speak to this about the character, but I want to hear from Bethany, from your perspective. Do you feel like, in essence, it's because she didn't really get to live her life, basically? She didn't really get to understand what's out there, what life has to offer her. And then now you're seeing this other side of the coin with where Kiana is concerned, and she's basically living the life that she wants to live, and she doesn't have to live by anybody else's rules. She even says it in there. She thinks that homeboy here calls all the shots, where in reality, no, he doesn't. So I think also even seeing that from her and how strong Kiana is, that's also another thing for Alex too, that, to Gloria's point, you don't really get to see how strong a woman can be until she is now out of that conformity of, in this case, this relationship.
Yeah, for me, the way that I explored in the beginning was Alex had sort of contorted herself into a position that worked with Joey. So it worked in that relationship and it really functioned to achieve Joey's dreams. And the truth of the matter is, Alex had actually not even asked herself what her own dreams are.
Okay.
And one of the points that struck me the most was so simple. It was when Kiana like did her breakfast order, and it was so
Oh yeah.
right. It was so wild and extreme, and we had none of those things on hand. And it was this
Yeah.
moment where I just sat and like watched her enjoy full freedom, order this extravagant breakfast that we literally can't make.
Yeah.
And that she's just allowed to dream and to desire and to want and to joke around. And I think that was the first moment where Alex started asking herself those questions. What breakfast would I order if I could just order any breakfast? And who cares if we only have eggs? Would I want pancakes and strawberries and whipped cream and, you know, um, and
Yeah.
then of course, Kiana starts to ask Alex even more, and Alex goes, "The only answers that I know are the ones are the ones that were of the people pleasing nature. So I know I'm supposed
Yeah.
to have a house and pay my mortgage and do these things that are in this rhythm, and she doesn't know what her own rhythm is or what her own
Mhm.
random extravagant dream might be. And she's starting stepping into her power to learn that, or at least to ask some of those questions of herself as the film goes on.
She didn't know herself.
No, she didn't know herself because she had never given herself the space to even ask those questions.
Yeah. And for you, Tandia, I just mentioned about the fact of how strong Kiana is in this, but we even said during this, there's just some points in this relationship where it's very abusive, and it's not physical abuse, but it's verbal abuse. And we're basically seeing how Kiana handles that. What was it like for you to act those scenes opposite and working through that? Like, what was going through your mind, and especially when other women see this, because we're even talking about how um, women empowerment, especially, and shout out, it is International Women's Month, so I love the fact that we're celebrating strong women here. But what do you say to that when people watch this and then seeing this, and you're coming out of this stronger than before? Because when you're seeing her dealing with this verbal abuse, this is not setting her back. If anything, it's making her rise up even more.
Totally. No, I agree. She isn't phased by the negativity that comes from her partner, and she just pushes back and proves him wrong. I think it's partially because it just seems like, yeah, Kiana has this tough outer shell and she's dealt with a lot of shit. So she's just like, if
Yeah.
you think I can do something, I will prove you wrong and I will do it. Because she doesn't like the trope of this of a guy being the savior and like the one that is putting forward the plans all the time and stuff. And I myself, like in real life, I feel like I've been in relationships where, yeah, men inherently think no matter what, a man is always stronger or maybe smarter than a woman. And it's like, I don't believe that whatsoever. But in real day to day life, I definitely can shrink down rather than like push back.
Mhm.
So it was really nice to be able to play a character that is actually strong and able to push back and just say, fuck it, I'm going to do this anyways. Like, I will prove you wrong.
And it ties into basically both what Gloria and even Bethany were saying. And I feel like also, I think that's another tie into how the character of Alex is even looking at Kiana in that sense. Because we already said that she didn't know herself, but now seeing somebody who's like this as how Kiana is, I feel like that's inspiration for her.
It was really inspirational, but it was also fear-provoking because I could see the escalation. Yes, it was verbal abuse, but it was becoming physical because the verbal was no longer there was no longer a dominance with this verbal abuse. And so I think there was this moment where Alex was going, "Hey, this doesn't go anywhere good. If you guys are just going to keep fighting to see who might win this one, it's going to end up really bad." And not that, Alex wants somebody else to shrink down the way she has, but knowing that she's stayed safe because of those things, or, do we have to leave? Being that other option there. But it was, I think, having another woman model the language, going, wait, I'm allowed to say that? I'm allowed to just totally disagree and be like, no, or not even just disagree verbally, but with my actions and say, oh, you think I can't do this alone? Watch me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. And I know we're wrapping up here, but I'm very excited for you guys premiering at South by Southwest this coming week. And best of luck to everything because you guys deserve it. This was really good. It was very ambiguous at points, but that was a very good ambiguous at points throughout the movie because it makes you question. And I really enjoyed having that thought-provoking aspect of this film. So best of luck with everything. And I'm very proud of what you guys did with
Oh,
this. So thank you so much.
thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much.